Welcome back. Will Worsham joins us now for this week's Speaking Legal discussion. Thanks for coming in, Will.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Almost,
to you, too.
Yes, very
Happy
good.
Star
Happy
Wars.
holidays. Happy Star Wars. Have you been?
No, I'm going tonight.
Are you? Yeah, that's exciting.
Okay. Very excited.
We won't
deal.
tell you what happened. I don't know what happened.
Please don't tell me what happened.
No
Wait.
spoilers.
We'll talk about it
Ready for the
tomorrow.
question of the day.
Sure, let's do it.
All right,
here we
at
go.
what age can a child make the decision to move out of the custody of one parent and live with the other? Does the kid have to wait until age 18, or can they make the decision at a younger age? Also, what are the implications and the process?
Okay, sure. That's a great question. And sometimes this is a timely question for this time of year, too, because with all the family stuff going with the holidays, it gets to be tense. This is a busy time of year for family lawyers. There's lots of last-minute changes, as we talked about a few weeks ago here. There's no set age when a child gets to decide. It's just simply not a
So it's
cut
not
and dry issue.
necessarily set in stone forever?
It's-
Once you have the parenting plan outlined?
No, it's
and all
not
that?
set in stone forever, but it's not the child's decision.
Okay.
As we've talked about before, whenever there's a child custody issue, whether it be child support, parenting, decisions to be made, the standard that we always are going to apply, that the court is always going to look at, is what's in the best interest of the child. So the custody arrangements, the parenting plan, the visitation schedule, all that is up to the judge ultimately to decide if the parents can't agree, and the judge is going to decide what's in the best interest of the child. Now, the judge will take into consideration what the child has to say about that. The child can come into court, be sworn in as a witness, and the child can testify to, hey, I want to live with mom, or I want to live with dad. And the reason is, and maybe it's a good reason or maybe it's not a good reason, and the court's going to take that into consideration. Generally, the older the child is, the more weight a court is going to give that child's opinion as to which parent they want to live with. But it's not going to be up to the child to make that decision, which parent they want to live with.
How soon is that decided on? Does it vary? I mean, do they walk out of court with the judge and the parents helping figure this out right now, or does it just drag itself out?
Well, there's a couple.
You see what I mean? It could be, depending on the people, it could be probably pretty ugly.
It really could. And there's a couple of different things that play into that. First of all, our court systems in general, and our family court systems in particular, are way overloaded. They are very crowded. And so if you have to have a judge make a decision, if you have to have a hearing, finding time on a court calendar to schedule that to where the judge can hear that can be difficult and can take months to get on a court calendar. Now, there are certain allowances for emergency situations, although this typically wouldn't rise to that level. So it could take months, if not even up to a year, to get a hearing held at that point. So it's much better if the parents and the kids can all kind of get together and agree if there's going to be any modification. But you asked before, is it set in stone? It's not set in stone. When a divorce happens or a child custody arrangement is made and there's a parenting plan, it's set up for that period of time. If there are then continuing and changed circumstances, it can be modified. So at any time, a parent can go into court with a motion to modify that parenting plan and get it changed. And that can be done at the child's behest. I mean, the child, theoretically, I guess, could hire a lawyer, but really that's up to the parent to come in and modify the parenting plan.
If they go in and the child essentially testifies as to what the deal is, are they compelled to testify in front of both parents, or is that a private thing in front of
the judge? Has the right, if the judge believes that there is compelling reason to do so, to hear testimony, what's called in camera. They can take that and hear what the child has to say in private, in chambers, not necessarily in front of the parents, if there's reason to do that. Generally in our country we have open courts. That means it's public, everybody gets to hear what's going on, and we like that. We don't like secret things. But we recognize that sometimes that's appropriate.
Do they give children lie detector tests? Do they do that?
Lie detector tests are not admissible in evidence in any circumstance anyway.
Because, you know, kids sometimes they don't tell the truth. I mean, people in general, but I'm just saying, you know,
well, you might be, I would think some of the kids might be fearful of saying something. In other words, if there's truly something going on that's very uncomfortable for the child, they may be very reluctant to say, you know what, forget it, I don't want to.
I would think so.
In certain circumstances, you have what's called a guardian ad litem, and that is an attorney that's appointed to represent the child in particular. And then they can have certain access to that child as well. They can report to the court. They can be an advocate for the child. So sometimes that assuages some of those concerns about issues about, is the child being undue influenced by one parent or the other? Is there too much pressure? And all this. But if you go back to the beginning and realize, hey, this is all supposed to be what's in the best interest of the kids, if both parents will keep that in mind, you just don't get into these situations.
Wouldn't have the
and
trouble,
hopefully
that kind of trouble.
cooler heads will prevail all the way around.
Right.
Okay, if you have a legal question for Will, email him at wworsham@color10.com. He'll answer your question on the show. Thanks and happy
Thank you,
holidays.
Will. Yes, have fun tonight.
Okay, thanks.
At the movie. All right, coming up, Ellen Rohr is here to talk about how to stop those distractions in your business. We'll be right back after this.